Welcome back. Now, if you decided to take up baking in the new year, you can't go wrong with the next recipe. Kelly-Lou Ging has a perfect light, zesty treat for us.
Exactly. We've been eating such heavy desserts over the last few weeks with Christmas, so we're peeling it back. We're going for something really light. Lovely zesty lemons and really simple to make.
Love a lemon loaf like this.
I love lemon. It's always my favourite.
Ricotta in it, though, is there?
There is ricotta, and the ricotta just adds a lovely lightness and kind of moistness to the cake.
Okay.
You don't taste it; it doesn't have a strong taste, but it adds that just lovely moistness.
Okay, how do we get cracking then?
So I have put my butter, my room temperature soft butter and caster sugar into my mixer, and I've just creamed them together. So you want to mix them together until they're really light and fluffy. So with the mixer on So Sweet, I'm going to just add 3 eggs then, one at a time, and let it mix in. Sometimes when you add the eggs, your mix can start looking a little bit curdled. Just add a little teaspoon of flour and that'll bring it back, take away that curdled look, but it's absolutely fine. We'll add in our eggs.
So sorry, a little teaspoon of what did you say?
A flour.
Flour, just?
Yeah, we'll just take away that curdled look, but it's absolutely fine. The mix is fine.
Right, okay.
Perfect. So while that's mixing, I have weighed out and sifted 190 grams of plain flour. To that, I am adding a teaspoon of baking powder, a pinch of salt, and then the zest of 2 lemons. So I've already zested in some lemons. And a good zester is always a must-have tool in your kitchen. You really need a good zester.
And is there lemon juice goes into this as well then?
There isn't going into the sponge cake, but hold on to your lemons because we're going to make a syrup later with those, so don't throw out your lemons once you've zested them.
Okay, perfect.
So that's our flour mix. We're going to give this a little mix together, and then I'm going to add this into the egg mix in 3 parts. So not to just pile it all in at once, just slowly. Slowly add it in.
At a decent speed there as well. So
yeah, kind of a slow to medium speed. You don't want to overmix your mix as well, because the more you overmix the cake, the tougher it'll get. And I also have 25 mils of milk, and I'm just going to add that in, and that's just going to loosen up the mixture as well. Okay, so once all our flour is in, you can smell the lemons.
Oh. Sorry, I've just had a little taste there. It's real lemony, isn't it?
It's really lemony,
gorgeous.
yeah.
It's so fresh.
So the very last ingredient then is your ricotta, and it's 80 grams of ricotta, and I've just kind of loosened it up with the spoon, softened it a bit, and this is going into your mixer.
So what would the ricotta be replacing? You would have it as an alternative.
You could leave it out if you didn't want to add it in. It doesn't really replace anything. It just adds that extra, I think, softness to the cake.
Okay, right. So you don't have to have it. It just adds a bit extra.
You could leave it out if you wanted, but I think it just adds that little extra kick.
Good.
You could, at this stage, if you wanted, you could add some poppy seeds into your mix. You could add in some fresh raspberries, would be really nice. You can make a lemon and raspberry cake, or just leave it as it is.
I can't get over how the lemon flavour of just the zest.
Yeah, and the syrup is what will really help it as well, and I'll show you how to do that in 2 seconds.
Okay, sorry, stop getting ahead of myself.
This size batter is going to make a 2-pound loaf tin. So line your tin. If you can get these ready-made liners, or you can grease it with a little bit of butter and a bit of icing sugar in it, just to stop the mix sticking. So
tell me, how has Christmas and stuff been for you?
It was good. It was crazy busy in the bakery, so we were glad to have, a few days break off. It just mad busy, really. We were operating probably 24 hours kind of the day, 2-3 days before.
Are you serious?
Yeah, just to try to get everything baked and everything
out. And what were people picking up? What was kind of...
cheesecakes, pavlovas, Ferrero Rocher cakes, cupcake, everything. Mince pies.
Right,
I think we're happy to see the end of mince pies for a while.
I can imagine.
I'm just smoothing out the top of this, and this is going to go into your preheated oven, 170 degrees for 55 to 60 minutes.
Okay.
When that's in the oven, we're going to make the syrup. So I've made up a syrup already. So all I did was...
So what's the syrup for, though? Is that just for putting over the top of it?
This is going to go on top of it, and that's going to soak down into your sponge, and that's going to give that really extra lemony kick. So I put the juice of 1 lemon, 50 grams of sugar, and 50 mils of water. Put it over a low heat, and you're just mixing it until the sugar is dissolved, and that gives you a really lovely syrup, so there's no sugar left in it.
Okay.
So when your cake comes out of the oven, so
it's not that syrupy, though. I would have thought it'd be a bit thicker.
It's not really thick. No. It's just kind of it's thicker than water, but it's not a really thick, dense syrup.
Okay.
When your cake comes out of the oven, when it's still warm, with a cocktail stick or a skewer or a knife, I couldn't find a skewer spoon, so I have the end of it for holding sweet corn. You just want to poke holes all over the top of your cake, and when it's while it's still warm. And then get your syrup, and you're just going to pour this
Okay, so that's
over
where
the
this
top.
flavour
And
is
because
really
the
coming in.
cake is warm, that syrup's going to soak down into your sponge, and that's what gives it that really, really lemony kick.
It's really soft though as well, isn't it?
is,
Does
yeah.
that help with that too?
Oh, it does. No, it keeps
Oh,
it
that's
really
the
moist.
ricotta working,
The
isn't
ricotta
it?
as well, I think, gives that extra moistness. And these are one of these cakes that they're nearly nicer the second day. Do you know, if you make that day, I always think they taste better.
And would you leave it out?
Next day. I would just leave it covered over, a bit of cling film, in a box or a tin. It'll be perfect. And the nice thing about this cake, it doesn't need loads of decoration. Just a sprinkle of icing sugar on top, a few raspberries. Really simple. So,
I mean, for people who maybe a New Year's resolution want to try and pick up something new, bacon, I mean, that's like once you have the food blender, really, it's fairly
that's it.
simple,
And they're
isn't
kind
it?
of all store cupboard ingredients. So they're ingredients that you would have. A lot of them are ingredients. You might have to get the ricotta, but a lot of them are ingredients that you would have at home. So, you know, you're not trying to get speciality ingredients or...
And then coming up next, then we've got Valentine's Day. Then what's the big one going to
Valentine's
be
is our
ready
next.
for that?
Well, that's what we're doing in the bakery at the moment. It's all
Right.
planning for Valentine's. So
What's the best seller for Valentine's?
usually anything with chocolate.
Okay,
Chocolate, yeah. So we kind of use January now to experiment and try out some new recipes.
Well, definitely try this one now if you're at home. That is dead
Good.
easy and dead tasty. Kelly-Lou, thank you
Thank
so
you
much
so much.
for
You're
chatting
so
to us again
welcome.
this morning.